Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the lesson. Today we continue with the topic procurement, public sector procurement. The lesson is the procurement cycle in public institutions. Procurement cycle in public institutions. And therefore, by the end of this lesson, you should be able to describe the procurement cycle in public institutions. Now, public institutions are what we call the procuring entities. And procuring entities are responsible for carrying out all the procedures pertaining to the complete procurement cycle. And it's important to be familiar with the complete procurement cycle and to ensure that there are effective management procedures in place to properly manage each step. So the procurement cycle begins with planning, which is an essential step for conducting successful procurement in an economic, efficient, transparent, and fair manner. So procurement planning comprises the identification of programs, the project's needs in terms of goods, in terms of works, in terms of services in discrete contract packages. It may also involve the selection of the most appropriate procurement method for each contract package, including the preparation of bidding documents, including technical specifications, the publication of tender notices, the issuance of bidding documents, the receipt and opening of bids. It may also include the evaluation of bids, the contract award, and also signature and contract management. So the procurement cycle is a long cycle, and there are various steps. The first one being identification of needs or requirements. Number two is the procurement planning. Number three is the definition of requirements. Number four, determination of source. Number five, the evaluation and selection of suppliers or vendors. Number six, contract award. Number seven, contract implementation. Number eight, we have what we call storage. Number nine is the payments. And lastly, a disposal. So I'm going to illustrate the procurement cycle by use of a diagram, the procurement cycle. Procurement cycle. I'm going to describe one here using a diagram, the steps that I've mentioned. And these are 10 steps. And if there are 10 steps, then I will have a diagram that appears as follows. So, candidates, that is a description, diagrammatic description of a procurement in the public sector. And the process begins with the identification of needs. The procurement cycle begins with the identification of needs of inputs like goods, works, or services for a program or a project which are prepared by concerned government agencies or procuring entity. And this is informed by the inventory status, the project plans, production schedules, the work plans, the capital or operational requirements. We may have budgets and the procurement plan. And after establishing the requirements, it is crucial to conduct a market survey to ascertain aspects such as prices, new products, or alternative or substitute products, new sources of supply, the nature of competition, the environmental aspects that may affect the supply market. That is identification of needs or requirements. Then the next step is procurement planning. Now, procurement planning is a process by which the efforts of users or personnel responsible for various aspects and actions of a purchase or a project are coordinated and integrated in a comprehensive manner through an annual plan. And we have the PPDA and regulations which make it mandatory for procuring entities to prepare procurement plans and have them approved by the accounting officer, and where applicable, the board of directors or similar body before engaging in procurement. And therefore, a procurement plan identifies each requirement, identifies the user, the budget, the procurement method, and schedule of various activities in the procurement process, as well as the timelines. And the plan must be integrated in the procuring entity's budget. That is procurement planning. Then we have definition of requirements. Now, this is the phase where the specifications for various requirements, the terms of reference, the bills of quantities, and the bid documentation is done. It's just that simple. Definition of the requirements. After definition of requirements, we have what we call determination of source. This is the phase where the procedure for soliciting of the bids and the choice of the procurement method is determined. It is here that we have preparation of specifications, we have the bills of quantities and conditions of contract also being addressed. Then after determination of the source, we have the evaluation and selection of vendors, vendor or vendors, evaluation and selection of the vendor. Now, evaluation bids and eventual choice of a vendor is executed at this stage of evaluation and selection. There could be various vendors, and there could be certain criteria that the procuring entity may use in the process of selecting a vendor. One aspect could be the price. The vendor that sells at an affordable price may be the one to be selected at that stage. After selecting of a vendor, then the next obvious stage or phase is contract award. Contract award. This is the phase where an award is made to a contractor or a supplier and eventual signing of contract or issuance of purchase or service order. Contract award. The next phase is contract implementation or delivery. Contract implementation or delivery. This is the final phase in the procurement cycle where the actual performance of work or delivery of goods or service takes place. All right? delivery. Then there is the storage phase. Now, an effective stores and what we call disposal management system is essential to deter corrupt malpractices. Storage. After delivery, then you store. Then the next obvious phase is payment. This is the stage at which suppliers are paid for goods, are paid for services, or are paid for works contracted to be delivered. Then finally, the disposal phase. Now, the process of periodic verification and annual stock-taking exercises exposes stores items which may have become, say, damaged. They could be unserviceable, or they could be obsolete. There could also be surplus which needs to be disposed. And there are several methods of disposal available to a procuring entity, like the transfer to another procurement entity. Okay, if a department has excess items or goods, such goods can be disposed of by transferring them to another procuring entity which may need such items. And the transfer may be with or without any financial adjustment. Another method could be sale by public tender, or e.g. through public auction. It could be through destruction. It could be by dumping, or burying, or burning, or trading, or recycling, or conversion to another condition, or even disposing the goods to employees. So that's the cycle. Then if it's annual, then the cycle begins again. Because this, we said the entity has to have an annual procurement plan. After execution of this one, then the next year there is again the identification of needs for another cycle, another procuring cycle. So that is the procurement cycle in the public sector. I'll give you one question as we close the lesson. Assignment: use an appropriate diagram to describe the procurement cycle in the public sector. Using an appropriate diagram, describe, let me use that language, using an appropriate diagram, comma, describe the procurement cycle in the public sector. Using an appropriate diagram, describe the procurement cycle in the public sector. That is your today's assignment. I will meet you in our next session as we continue to share knowledge in public finance. Thank you. Bye-bye.